After a year and a half of trying to get Coke Zero to sponsor me, with no joy, I thought, well, I also like tonic water. I'll start working through that big box of slimline tonic that I got at Christmas. Only to find, on further inspection, Schweppes, owned by Coca-Cola. It's the same people. And they're tiny cans. Luckily, just as refreshing as Coke Zero was. So if Coca-Cola, if you are watching, I'll advertise any of your drinks apart from Sprite. Hello and welcome to season 22, episode 8 of Not League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we are away against Chelsea and then at home against Leicester in the Premier League. Since you were last with me, this is the state of affairs. So we have been on a nice long run of lots of green. We had the one little blip against Norwich when we needed a very late equaliser from Michael Vendrick to maintain our invincible start to the season. But maintain it, we have. We're calling it a start. We're into February now. We're still in the EFL Cup. We've got the final against Man United coming up maybe in the next episode. And we're into the fifth round of the FA Cup where we're going to play Shrewsbury, just so that I can mispronounce that club one more time. The Premier League looks absolutely marvellous. It looks like this. We are 4 points clear at the top with 2 games in hand. It's a 2-horse race between us and Man City, and fingers crossed we'll win our 2 games in hand, one of which appears to be today, and just pull out a nice big gap at the top of the league. Our nearest challengers outside of City, though, are Chelsea, the team we play today. So in the same vein as in some of the other bigger away games we've had this season, we'll be happy with a draw. I'll be very unhappy if we finally lose the unbeaten. I mean, we're unbeaten in all competitions in nearly a year now. It's something silly like 60 games in all competitions. We keep getting media reports every couple of games. This is the one. If we're going to lose a game, it's going to be this one. And we're still suffering a little bit of injuries. This time, it's a midfield injury crisis. At one point, Ziyech is now fit again. But at one point, we had Ziyech, Sedman, Medor, Fiorentini all injured. James Burgess is just getting the run of games of his life playing in central midfield. 25 games in midfield. He's actually played as many games as Liam Wells this season now. So he's very much established as part of our midfield 3. The other 2, we're just kind of having to throw in any fit player that we've got. So the team away against Chelsea, where we are going standard flexible, we drop back from our normal control. We've got Igor in goal, a back 4 of Ribeiro, Eriksson, Aribi, Anandai, Wagner, Ziyech and Burgess in midfield, with Oscar in behind Wells and Iribarren. Let's get into the game. And I've moved my camera. Depending on how this all works when I'm editing this together afterwards, there's a good chance I might be on the opposite side of the screen to what I normally am. And it's because the camera's usually on that side, but I want it to look like I'm looking at the pitch. That's why I'm on the side that I usually am, but I think I'm looking the wrong way now. My neck feels funny already 5 minutes into the episode. So I think I'm going to move over to the other side of the screen. Or I could just move the camera back, but that sounds like an awful lot of work. Yes, we want to put a dent in their aspirations. Yes, I always look forward to this one. I don't care I don't even know who he is, let alone care who he is. And we're not going to do any silly nonsense like that. So let's get into the game. A draw will be perfectly good enough. Remember, this is one of our games in hand. So a draw leaves us 5 points clear of City, still with a game in hand. And that is a very nice situation to be in after 25 games. A defeat is not a disaster, other than the fact it wrecks our chances. Well, it destroys our chances of doing an invincible season and just upstaging Arsenal in a different way to the way we're already upstaging them this season. But I have a bad feeling about this game. But Liam Wells is in, and with 10 minutes on the clock, Wells gets his 21st goal of the season. We're 1-0 up after 10 minutes. As it stands right now, 7 points clear at the top of the Premier League with a game in hand. Imagine if we won that and went into like the final 8 games, 10 points clear. We could actually get ourselves, I know I'm getting very ahead of myself here, but we could potentially be in a situation where we can kind of take our foot off the gas in the Premier League completely. Maybe even risk losing a few games. Because at the start of the season, we didn't set out to have an invincible season. We set out to win 7 trophies. And if I had to choose, if we can only achieve one of those things, I want all 7 trophies. The invincible thing is fun, but only if it's relish on the 7 trophy burger that is a successful... I mean, this analogy is getting away from me a little bit. Chelsea are on the attack, but Wagner gets in the tackle and Oscar loses the ball and Chelsea are counter-attacking here and Igor makes a good save. He's, I was going to say he's kept us in it, but he hasn't really... We're still winning. I don't think we need to worry about being kept in it at this stage. But Chelsea have a second corner in a row and the cross comes in, but Burgess deals with it, finds Iribarren perfectly. And what can Ruben Iribarren do here? Absolutely nothing. This Mora bloke, I think we need to keep an eye on him. He's getting a bit in our face at the moment, and I don't know how I feel about that. So we need to keep an eye on him. I also don't know if I like my new microphone arrangement. We might have to do another setup to it. Now I think I'm finally finished my setup in my garage, which I've been working on for months. It's 1-1. You're probably watching the game more than I am, so you know that. But now, finally, I think got the tech side of the setup finished. It might be time for a first setup tour in about a year on this channel, although there are a couple of cosmetic tweaks that still need to happen. So it's likely to be something that happens in about a month's time. But I don't know. I've got the microphone kind of stretching over from one side now, and I feel a little bit like I'm talking out the side of my mouth. If it sounds a little bit funny today, especially in stereo, because I'm completely on one side of the microphone now. So if it does sound a little bit odd, then it's all still tweakable, because I mean I've got such weird muscle memory now that seriously looking this way at the monitor is making my neck go, you don't do this, you never look right, what are you doing? Well, I could just adjust the chair. Problem is, if I adjust the chair, I'm even further away from the microphone then. I'm so far over this side of the screen. You wouldn't think this is one of the biggest games of the season, and I'm worrying. I mean, some people might do this kind of stuff off air. Some people aren't doing a full-time job at the same time as this full-time job and a vlog channel, and I haven't got time. It was either do it with you lot watching or just not mention it. To be fair, not mention it probably would have been the way forward. Oscar makes it 2-1 though with his 21st goal of the season. So Wells pulled level with Oscar for goals earlier on in the game, and Oscar has now jumped out ahead of him again. I think they're the two top scorers for us at the moment. I still don't think Iribarren has caught up after... I mean, he did have 4 freak seasons in a row. 2 for Liverpool, 2 for us. So it's fair enough that this season he's just being an incredibly good player rather than an absolute alien player ruiner like he has been for the last few years. The only problem is, Ruben, I'm trying to sell some mugs with your name on in a few weeks. So you need to have another legendary season. You need to do something special just to give me something to stick on this mug. Iribarren doesn't do anything special. Wells almost did. He hits the post from absolutely miles out. And we maintain our 1-goal cushion. We are picking up a few yellow cards, though, particularly in our defence, which we need to keep an eye on, because the one thing I still haven't figured out 22 seasons in and 20 plus years of playing Football Manager games is what on earth I'm supposed to do when I go down to 10 men. I used to be able to manage it when I played like a 4-4-2, 4-3-3, anything like that. But with this 4-3-1-2, I never know whether to take off the second striker, whether to take off the attacking midfielder, whether to change the system entirely. So a red card would absolutely ruin us. And it is now 2-2 as well, thanks to an equaliser from that fella who's just ran away. I mean, he's rather pleased with himself. Ribeiro is injured. It's only a bruised head. How important can that be for a footballer? They're in again here, though. Oh, that was... I mean, and that was on Ribeiro's side as well. I don't know if we've got Nathan Gordon on the bench to bring on. It's a massive game to bring an 18-year-old left-back into. Iribarren makes it 3-2. I'm less worried about bringing an 18-year-old left-back into the game if we're in the lead when I do it. Iribarren, just his 16th goal of the season. But you know what? When Wells and Oscar are scoring as many goals as they are, I can handle the fact that Iribarren might only end up with 20 or 25 goals this season. He's more than pulled his weight the last couple of years. At times we look like a one-man team. Now we're a lots of men team. Then he deserves to take a little bit of a step back. We don't have Gordon on the bench. I'm less keen about bringing Plotnikov on, even though in theory he's a world-class defender. But I think I've got to do it because Ribeiro, they were already letting them attack down that side a little bit. Ribeiro is such an important player as well. We can't really risk him getting a proper injury. Sedman can't... I mean, we don't have enough midfielder to bring on, really. All we can really do... I want to take Ziyech off because he's tired, he's booked. He's still not properly fit. We can bring Vendrig on, drop Oscar back. Oscar's getting used to playing as a box-to-box midfielder. We've done it quite a lot recently. And Vendrig will go in behind the front two. I could have brought Piero on there, really bringing Vendrig on because of his big game experience and the fact that he just has a knack. As we get towards the business end of the season and games start to really, really matter, Michael Vendrig has a knack. He did it against Norwich a couple of games ago when he saved a point for us, when I was convinced it wasn't going to be our day. And I just quite like having him knocking around the place. We are going to bring Piero on now, though, for Wagner. And when I've done, and this is a midfield three that have played together before, and James Burgess is practicing playing as our defensive lad in the middle. It's not ideal to have a converted striker playing as our holding midfield player, but he's done it plenty of times already, and he does a rather good job of it. Irabauer makes it 4-2, and we don't need to worry about the fact that we've got the most attacking midfield in the universe. When Kev's around, tactics are meaningless. I come from a world with no tactics, because this team, this group of 11 players that we've got, logic says that the current arrangement of them shouldn't be working, but we're away from home against one of our title challengers and we're soundly beating them with basically no midfield. We've got 3 strikers and then 3 attacking midfielders, a right back and 3 centre backs on the pitch at the moment, and a goalkeeper. But everyone's so far out of position, it shouldn't be working, but somehow it is working, and Wells is in to make it 5. Oh, I thought it was a cheeky little lob, but it didn't quite come off. But it doesn't really matter. We'll go counter-attack him. Why not? Kev does tactics. I can fiddle around with some tactics a little bit, just to show you that I'm not as inept as my combination of players at the moment looks. Yeah, that's right. That's Oscar, last man back, defending from a corner where he should be at the other end scoring. That's our top scorer, last man back when we've got a corner, because it's total football here at Tottenham these days. And by total football, I mean the players have now reached a point where they're so much better than everyone else. I'm struggling to mess it up, even when I put them in stupid combinations. That's how good this group of players is. Yes, it was nice to win this game. 7 points clear at the top. Game in hand. That kills off any outside chance Chelsea had of a title challenge. It is absolutely a 2-horse race between us and City, and these injuries are going to have a big impact on how successful we're likely to be. Wagner, we can leave. I mean, it's another central midfielder injured, and now Ribeiro we can live with 5 days with Ribeiro, and we were fined for failing to control our players. Who cares? The finances are finally repairing themselves. It doesn't look it from there, but okay. The last time I looked at this, our projection was positive. I don't know how that's happened again. Don't understand. Anyway, let's go and play against Leicester. And if the 2 extra injuries we got in that last match weren't enough, Diaz has got himself injured in between the 2 matches. I mean, it's only our reserve goalkeeper, but we've got so many injured players. This bench for today's game, poor old Michael Vendrig, is surrounded by so many children he's had to have a criminal records bureau test just to be allowed to sit there with them. Our midfield, Burgess is going to anchor it because I like him doing it. I want Ziyech and Sedman in their natural positions. It was a choice between Burgess and Ziyech anchoring it, and Ziyech didn't do the best job in the world of doing it in the last game. Other than that, Plotnikov comes in for Ribeiro. The rest of the team is unchanged, and we have no bench, basically. It is Michael Vendrig and children. I've never known a squad of mine in all my time playing Football Manager, even down at like conference. When you're in Conference South or something, at least if you get this desperate, you just bring in a couple of extra non-contract players. You never get to the point when you're in danger of not being able to fill the bench. But without our youth team, we wouldn't be able to fill the bench today. It would be Michael Vendrig wearing 7 football shirts on that bench, and he'd just have to do an impression of whoever he was coming on for. I don't understand how we're so desperate for players and we haven't lost a game in a year. Is this the key to success on Football Manager? I know they talk about how important morale is in squads in Football Manager these days. Is it the fact that the squad is so small that I haven't got a single player who's unhappy because they're not getting game time? No, whereas for the last 20 odd seasons, I've constantly got people saying, I'm not getting any game time. What are you going to do? And they're getting grumpy about it. What a goal from Wells. I don't get that at all now, because every single member of our squad has played 20 plus games this season, apart from Diaz, who had a little bit of a whinge in about October, and Jesper Eriksson is so over as our captain now that he just took him to one side, gave him a slap, and he was happy. And he stood there and asked him to slap him again. So everyone's happy. And I think that's translating. We've got a combination of a selection of the best players in the world, some really good youngsters, and sky-high squad morale off the back of winning, 5 trophies in the last 12 months, still being in with a chance of another 4. And we haven't lost in a year. So morale is just about as high as it could possibly get. And you combine that sky-high morale with the talent that we've got in the squad, and it has made a team that at the moment looks unbeatable. I mean, as it stands right now, we pull level on games with Man City, but we're 10 points clear of them at the 25 game mark, which is, I mean, unheard of. Is that the right word for that? I don't know that I ever remember that happening this early in the season. Iribarren hits the post. We could have been 3-0 up on 25 minutes. It's certain. I think we're going to have to face facts. I may have jumped the gun on buying that Southend away shirt earlier in the year. I wouldn't ever buy a Tottenham shirt. It's all right walking around in a lower league shirt for a team you don't support, but I don't want to look like one of those fans who I support Posh, but I also have a Premier League team. No, I support one football team, Peterborough United. I don't need a Premier League shirt as well. But I bought the Southend shirt because at the time I proclaimed them my best ever squad. I don't think there's any argument at all now that this current Tottenham side, mate, it's perhaps a stretch calling it my best ever squad because there's only about 15 of them, but as a team, it is the best team I've ever had in all my years playing Football Manager. Wells is in again here and forces a save out of the Leicester keeper. We've had 14 shots with no reply, 3 clear-cut chances. Leicester haven't had a shot. They've barely had a kick. And Iribarren makes it 3-0. Can I point out that Leicester, a point in this match would have moved them into a Champions League spot. We're not spanking a terrible team. This is the 5th best team in England as of right now. And we're just completely taking them apart. The way we did Chelsea in the last match. Yeah, okay, we conceded 2 goals against Chelsea. But even so, we overpowered them in the end. And I don't know how many more league games I'm going to show you because I'm conscious of the fact that when I'm watching a series or even when I'm playing a series myself, once it gets to this point, oh, look, he's won again. So we might just maybe do one more episode of league games before we end the season and focus in on those cups a little more. We've got the EFL Cup final coming up. We've got hopefully Champions League and FA Cup runs to come as well. Oscar's going to drop back into midfield with Piero going in behind the front. So I suppose I should have brought Vendrick on there, but I'll probably bring him on for Sedman actually. We'll get Vendrick on as well. And we'll just do this weird midfield combo thing again that we've done before. This time Ziyech does drop to become the defensive one of our... I've left this on standard all game. I guess there's no point changing it now, but I don't think I've ever done standard at home before. Unless it was a Champions League tie that we were already ahead in. But I certainly, at home against Leicester, my instinct wouldn't be standard. But it doesn't seem to have done us any harm. Again, it's another example of the players just basically disregarding the fact that I exist. I wonder if Jesper Eriksson is really our manager now. They just get out on the pitch and he just organises them into, right, this is what you're going to do. This is where you're going to play. Forget what that idiot over there says. He's like nearly 60 now in this world that we live in. And it's unusual for me to describe it in that way. But he's like a 60-year-old pensioner nearly. Ignore him. Listen to me. I'm Jesper Eriksson. We're going to win the league and we're going to do it without losing any games. Iribarren doing the disco penalty. We had it from Liam Wells 2 days ago. Now Ruben Iribarren is getting on the latest trend, the disco penalty. And we need some disco penalty music. So find me some copyright-free disco penalty music. It's required. Ziyech is going to come off and we're going to bring... You know what? I've done this off camera. I haven't shown you it yet. We're going to bring Francis on and we're going to go to a back 3. Last time we did it, we had Ribeiro, so Ndai's not ideal out there. But because we're running out of midfield players, we'll just do that. And, I mean, there's only 10 minutes left, so we can't foul things up too much, surely. But rather than bringing a kid on, who, I mean, we don't need more kids. So rather than bringing a youngster on who's untried, I mean, I know we're bringing Francis on who's very young as well, but he's played 10 or 15 games for us by this point. It just allows us to secure things up a little bit at the back. We've got 3 very good centre-backs. Vendrick did brilliantly there. Oscar out to Undai. And when we've not got any defensive midfield players as well, I guess it makes sense to shift to this. And it's very reminiscent of a tactic I was using this time last year in the Bolton Battle in FM16. Another thing about Francis as well, while we're on the subject of him, I was looking at his history yesterday, and he got 7 goals in 19 games for Rochdale in League 2 a few years ago. Presumably playing at right back. There's no way of checking now, but he's a right back. That's quite a good goal return. He's never been anywhere near that. He's never scored a goal since, but Rochdale fans remember him as a free-scoring winger? I guess they must have been using him as. I don't really know. But anyway, we have ended the episode 10 points clear at the top of the Premier League. We still have games in hand over everyone apart from Man City, but we're kind of disregarding them because we're 19 points clear of Chelsea in 3rd place now. We're level on games played with Man City. They're still in the Champions League as well. They're still in the FA Cup as well. We're playing as many games as them. Hopefully they'll meet us in the final and they can stay just as tired as us in the league then, and we can finish things off in a delightful Champions League final in a few episodes' time. That's the plan anyway. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.